All right. Welcome back, everybody. We got the big 3-0 today. Episode 30.
Ooh. Oh, I thought you turned 30. I was like, wait a second.
No, I turned
You're 31 now, aren't you?
Yeah. God, that just sounds I hate it. I hate that so much.
Matt's creeping on it.
I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
2 more years.
So anyway, I guess I like to do things. I'm your host today, Jeremy Greenwood. We got a very nice guest today. I'm excited for. And actually, I didn't talk to her. We were talking a little bit beforehand, and she can hear us now. But I got a question for you, Julia. That's not in the itinerary, and it's not a big question at all. I forgot to tell you I was going to add it, but I'm going to mix it up. I'm going first. My weekend / week was pretty good. Had a couple Pirates games, a warm-up game we won, regular season game we lost, brutal loss. Just talked to you guys about that. Not going to say anything more. And then my brother just celebrated my brother's birthday. It's been a week now, but just finally got the family together. And it was the first time we were together, like without masks or separation. My sister Joan just had a baby, so there had to be like some extra precaution with masks and things, and like it made sense, obviously. So it was just nice to be together. And I know, Rosh, you kind of had the same thing this weekend. If you want to dive into that.
Yeah. Last week was we officially bought a house. So we close August 2nd. I know it's a little ways out there, but and we got a buyer for our house, which went well above asking, which is awfully nice. So we're pretty excited to have a little bit more space, a little bit more yard. And honestly, we got really lucky. It's a really nice house. It might be in the wrong state, but making the most out of it. And it is a really nice house, and I'm really excited for it. But I actually got to on Wednesday. So school got done for me Tuesday with students. Wednesday was a faculty day. And so Wednesday after my faculty day, I got on an airplane with Cash and flew back to Wisconsin for the weekend. And got to spend Memorial Day weekend with my family and at the farm, which is like my favorite place on earth, out by LaRue. If you don't know where LaRue is, you're with
take a drive out there.
You're with 99% of the population with not knowing where LaRue is. But no, we went out to the farm and just got to grill out campfires. Cash got to play with his cousins and on the beach, and it was a whole family, extended family, and it was just really nice, especially because the weather Saturday was really nice. Sunday it was warm, but got a little cloudy. But it was really fun. Got to drive the 4-wheeler around, check my food plots, check my deer stands, do all the things I love to do. So that was a blast. And then obviously seeing family and seeing Cash interact with his cousins and stuff was a blast too. So I definitely hear you, Jay Green, on the getting together with family. And well, actually, I just flew back this morning, so I'm back in Colorado now. But in 3 quick weeks, I'll be making my way back to Wisconsin via the F-150. I'll be driving back in June because there's somebody that happens to be having a party of some sort. I forget what he's celebrating, but we're going to Nashville for some reason. I just go with the flow and follow the crew, but I definitely don't think we should be going live during that gathering.
No,
but no, looking forward to going to Nashville for Matt's bachelor party in a couple weeks. From now until then, just coaching football. We got football 4 days a week. So
let's just go live whenever Jeremy's making an ass out of himself, right? Like, forget about everybody else.
Well, we are going to Top Golf, so that could be an opportunity.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
It was this weekend was a good weekend. Saturday, had a little fun, went on the boat. Like Rosh said, it was nice weather here in La Crosse too, so soaked up some sun, had some adult beverages, and then
you were jamming tunes at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's a Saturday staple for me and Sarah. Just kind of make breakfast.
Saturday morning jam session or what?
Yeah. And then we've been kind of working on our deck, sanding our deck, and I know Rosh said it too, but not fun one bit. So all day Sunday we did that. All day today we pretty much did that. So we're just kind of sanding it, gonna restain it hopefully next week, and then we're gonna build some new railings. So hopefully that looks pretty nice. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Just had some big boomers here in the cross. I know you guys like to make fun of me for that, so that was pretty cool.
Mike, go ahead, man.
Yeah. No big boomers here. But Friday one of our neighbors' kids turned 12, so we had like a little block party. It's kind of cool. We know a bunch of people on our street, so we get together with them quite often. So did that on Friday. Saturday was a pretty busy day. I'm starting to slowly get into fishing right now. So I bought a pair of waders like 2 weeks ago. It's probably quite the scene, but I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. Big Mike showed me the ropes. Caught a huge northern. Of course, Mike didn't get a picture of it at all to brag, but did some golfing both Saturday and Sunday. Hung out with the family. And then today I actually had to work at the Schwamigan Bay Golf Club here in Ashland, Wisconsin. So
here we go. Give us the phone number.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
If any of our listeners are in the area and want to get a nice round of golfing, hit up ask for Mike. 715-682-8004. We'll get you squared up. If you need any golf equipment or golf repair. So hey, I'm doing golf repair now. So I can regrip clubs. So if
you repair my whole golf game?
I don't know about that, but if you need anything golf related, ask for Mike. Schwamigan Bay Golf Club will get you set up.
And some prank calls if you want.
Yeah, I already did that. Yeah. Last question: do you guys have to work today, or do you have the day off?
Day off.
I was off.
Mike, you were working.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were there golfing. I had to work as well. Don't know where I was going with that. So let's bring Julia on and we'll introduce. All right. Hey, Julia. So go ahead and just introduce yourself, I guess. You know, how old you are, what year you graduated, where you're at now, things like that.
All right. So I'm Julia Korklewski. I'm 20 years old. I'll be going into my junior year at Eau Claire here in the fall. And yeah, from Reedsburg, Wisconsin.
Through and growing up, what did you do? Any sports extracurriculars? How would people in the Reedsburg community know Julia?
Yeah, so I started playing soccer probably around the age of 4, and then picked up basketball along the way in 3rd grade. Along with basically any other sport I could play. I played softball for a year. I played volleyball. And then in high school, I also picked up golf. So in high school, I played volleyball, basketball, soccer, and golf.
Wow. Okay.
Golf, good sport.
And you actually work at the country club, right?
Yeah.
So if any of our guests see Julia there, extra big tips. Please,
yeah, big tips.
Please. So I guess the question that I had asked earlier was, or I was thinking of that I didn't tell you that I should have told you, was looking through some pictures of you in basketball and thinking about, you know, I coach hockey and I've seen around a little bit. I know that you and your dad go to Pirates games and things like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't know the specifics of it, Julia, but you had a pretty big knee injury.
Yeah, my freshman year of high school, I tore my ACL.
Dang.
So.
Okay. And so you've recovered. What was that process like for you?
So I tore my ACL in September, I think it was, so right at the beginning of freshman year. And so I missed all of my sports that year. I got a month not even a month through volleyball. And then, so then I was able to come back the next summer, slowly just getting back into things. At basketball camp or volleyball, like open gyms, but then got to play the rest.
So your sophomore year on, you would say that you were pretty close to full health? as close as you could be.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess, it's very impressive to me to hear that and to know that you're a college athlete now, and that just how much work you've had to probably put in to get to where you're at. And I know we're about to get into that piece because I know that Mike's interested potentially in recruiting you to Northland College. So jump in and tell me about your basketball career and why Eau Claire and how did everything come to be there?
Yeah. So yeah, after I tore my ACL, that was a long road to recovery. Definitely tested me mentally as well, like just as much as it did physically. And I had a very strong sophomore year coming out of the gates for basketball, so that definitely helped my confidence and what I was able to do. Just because I could be confident in my knee and know that it's just almost like my other knee again. And so, I mean, I'm fully confident now and I don't even think about it anymore. Like, it's like, oh, that's right, that did happen, but it was such a long time ago.
With basketball at Eau Claire, would you say, and I don't know if these are accurate terms or not, it's just, are you an energy girl? Are you a sixth person? Are you an all-team, no matter what it takes type person? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I definitely would consider myself a role player of trying to do the little things because, I mean, we have plenty of people on our team that can go out and score 20, like, whenever they need to or whenever the team needs them to. So I find it more important to do little things to help them do that and help the team, like a hustle play or, being in the right spot on defense, taking a charge, stuff like that.
Julia, I'm a little interested because I don't think I told you, but I coach college hockey here at Northland College, and I'm always curious. We've had a couple other people on that are ex-athletes or currently in collegiate sports, but just talk to us a little bit like how the recruiting process went with Eau Claire. I've been on Eau Claire's campus, and you can certainly have a good time there. But what were some things that you were looking for into a school, and what other schools were you also looking at as well?
Yeah, so I kind of think that I got to the recruiting process late, noticing that maybe I do have a chance to play at the next level. So I was looking at lacrosse, Eau Claire, and the University of Dubuque wanted me to play soccer and basketball for them.
Wow.
Thanks.
So basically both lacrosse and Eau Claire had told me that they had already had like the max amount of commits for my class, so that like if I wanted to play for them, I would have to walk on. And at Dubuque, it just wasn't the fit for me. It was really small, and it was also really expensive. It just wasn't somewhere that I would see that I was going to be happy.
Sure.
And so basically it just came down to what fit me better academically. And at Eau Claire, for team GPA, we're consistently hitting top 25 in the nation. That's D1, D2, D3. So that just being able to be a part of a team that holds themselves accountable just as much in the classroom on the court was a big deciding factor.
You struck me, chord with me there when you said that, because that's honestly something that we kind of talk about through our recruiting process when we're talking to guys is, say a guy that we're recruiting, say they get injured or tear their ACL or something, like, can you see yourself still going to school there, not playing a sport? And then that's something that we kind of tie into like our recruiting thing as well. So that's kind of cool that you talked about that a little bit just with Eau Claire.
Yeah, and that was definitely a huge part of it, just because being since they told me that walking on that would have to be my option. That's what made me pick Eau Claire, was that I knew I was going to be happy there if I was playing basketball or not.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. You said it fits you academically. What are your future plans academically? What do you see yourself doing?
So I'm an exercise science major, kinesiology major with a psychology minor along with a coaching minor. So after I graduate, I'm looking to go to grad school somewhere and getting my certification for certified strength and conditioning specialist, and just seeing where hopefully grad school I can get a GA position and get some good contacts with people with job opportunities, and then honestly just seeing wherever that takes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. The more people you know, the more contacts.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, Raj, you know about the strength training certificate and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. I've actually I've taken the CSCS test, and it took me 2 times to pass the thing because it's pretty intense. But in the strength and conditioning world, unfortunately, just like coaching, it's all about who you know and not necessarily what you know. And then once you know those people and get your foot in the door, then it becomes what you know. And so making those connections will be huge. And so you're already off to a good start by building those. And if you can get a GA spot, that's killer, because you'll make tons of connections with, whatever sports program head coaches you're working with the head strength and conditioning coach at that school. And that's the easiest way, because I had 3 teammates of mine at Whitewater. One of them is actually the assistant strength coach for LSU's football team. And like 2 or 3 years ago, he was the guy that headbutted another dude and had blood running down his forehead.
Oh, that guy.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
his name is Jake Riedel, and I actually got to play football with him. And then I have 2 other friends that went into strength and conditioning, were GAs, then they were assistant strength coaches at D1 programs, and then they actually branched off. And one of them is Matt Gifford, and he was working for Next Level, that crazy big athletic facility, and I think it's Waukesha.
Yeah.
And now he's starting up a new one with another group, and it's 156,000 square feet facility. It's field turf, it's basketball courts, it's a weight room, and I even think they have a couple laps for swimming too. And it's this
Where's that
big,
at?
huge New Berlin. It's going to be finished, I think he said, the fall of 2021. So they already have the structure up and stuff. So he's moving from Next Level. He was in like Mequon or something, and he's moving to this new facility. But it's definitely I do it, but I do it through high school, so it's not quite the same as doing it. But I absolutely love doing strength and conditioning. So it's definitely a fun field, and you're doing everything right so far. So that's good.
That's good to know.
Julia, did you come up to Northland like 2 years ago? Did you guys have an away game up here? I could have swore that we played Eau Claire.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Maybe it was. I knew it was one of the YX schools. I couldn't remember who it was though.
I bet I could guess the score.
Hey, our girls team is trending in the right direction right now.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, and let's say a 2-part question here, Julia. Let's say you graduate. What is there a certain area of Wisconsin that you see yourself more so settling down in? Also, do you see yourself potentially coming back to Reedsburg? Is that something that you've thought about at all? And second, in terms of Reedsburg, something we always ask our guests coming on is, who was your favorite teacher growing up and why?
So coming back to Wisconsin is something that, I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just kind of depending on where I end up for grad school and like obviously those connections. So, I mean, if I can come back to Wisconsin, great. But I mean, also just getting out and to explore different cities would also be something that I'd be very interested in doing. And then for favorite teacher, I'd probably have to say Miss Finkhouse, just because she kind of inspired me to take this path, because she does a great job in the weight room, and like she showed me that this is like something that I could see myself doing in the future.
Sure. I don't know. I imagine you know Mary Parkhurst. She just commented, "Do you get your athletic ability from your mom?" Which is a good question. It's a fair question. Do you get it from your mom or your dad? I guess.
I'm just gonna say equally from both.
Okay,
Oh, good answer.
that's the
Good
safe
answer.
route. So usually, Julia, when we have people come on, I ask them 2 questions. You know, we'll send them kind of our rubric or what the questions, and then I'll ask for a space for you to say whatever you want. And people usually just decline. They don't say much. I believe Nick Wagner kind of talked a little bit about some stuff, but you kind of have a topic that was sincere to you, and I wanted to give you the space to be able to talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty big WNBA fan. Not a lot of people watch, but it is getting more popular. They just started their 25th season as a league, and they signed a new players contract that's actually very interesting because now their salaries have doubled, and it offers a whole bunch of new things that they didn't have in the past. It allows for more player movement. So over the offseason, there was some player movement that happened that kind of sparked some interest on ESPN and stuff like that. And even their viewership has gone up a lot since this past year. So even with the March Madness tournament, I don't know if you guys saw the weight room discrepancy that happened.
Yeah.
But then those girls being able to go out and show what they can do and why they deserve those things. And after that March Madness tournament, 52 of those players opted to go into the draft. And a lot of people don't know this, but there's only 144 players in the league. And so when 52 players opt into the draft, like, there's not a whole lot that they can guarantee them. So only 36 of those players got drafted, and unlike the NBA, they don't have a G League or anywhere to play. So the best product is out on the floor every night. It's a cutthroat league, and it's something that is growing and is very fun to watch. You just give it a chance. So, I mean, if you're going to watch a game, I would recommend my favorite team is the Seattle Storm with Sue Bird. She's 41-40.
That was a question. Okay.
Still just dominating the game along with Diana Taurasi of the Phoenix Mercury. So if you ever get a chance to watch either of those players, they're just phenomenal to watch, and the team around them is just good basketball.
Kind of a spin off this, and if you guys remember, we actually talked about this during one of our episodes during the March Madness. But I don't have the stuff in front of me, but there were more social media impressions with the women NCAA March Madness compared to the men's, and we talked about that a little bit too, just like how much the women's side is really kind of taken off here, especially at the NCAA level, and obviously it's continuing to grow at the WNBA level too, which I thought was really cool. Like obviously there was that stuff with the weight room, but like a lot of people, for me personally, like I actually enjoyed watching the women's March Madness games probably a little bit more than the men's games, just because how much they were competing and stuff too, which was really cool. So just kind of a cool snippet off of what you were saying.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't understand what Julie and Mike were referring to, the weight room thing, basically the NCAA, they had their bubble, right? They each had their bubbles, and the NCAA had set up a bunch of athletic stuff, some treats, some goodies, all these things in the hotel rooms for the males and for the females. And the males got just so much, a lot of nice stuff, and the females weren't as nice, and it wasn't as nice as
didn't they only get like a granola bar or something like that?
It's just stupid.
It's weird.
Yeah, and it's just like it made me very uncomfortable, like seeing that. And I don't know if you know this, Julia, or the answer, but did the NCAA ever come out and say anything in terms of getting called out on that?
Basically, it was like that they had an equipment shortage, which is why the women were just set up like that for now. And then we saw that they had gotten some better equipment, but I mean, still nowhere compared to the men.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, that's all they said was, "Oh, it was an equipment shortage. We were planning on getting more."
Right. Yeah. Which nobody buys.
Exactly.
But so the last thing here, Julie, and by the way, what kind of happens with me, and I say this every time. I'm an UW Eau Claire women's basketball fan now, and I'm also a Seattle Storm fan now, just because. Just appreciate you coming on and talking with us. And then hearing about the knee and then you being where you're at, it's just so cool. I think that's just awesome. But last part, Milwaukee Bucks. You're a big NBA fan as well. The Bucks just tore apart the Heat. There's some thoughts in terms of like, well, this, and I'm going to admit it myself right here because I'm all over the place. I was very critical of the Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe exchange. Okay, I was hesitant because of the contract. I was hesitant because of the years left with Bledsoe, and I was wrong. Okay, wrong. I was wrong, and they just blew out the Heat this year. I don't know if the bubble had anything to do with it, but your thoughts on the Bucks, your thoughts on the NBA, your thoughts on super teams. And the floor is yours.
I mean, I definitely think the Bucks made a lot of good moves in the offseason that a lot of people didn't think were going to work out. But obviously getting Bryn Forbes, who's just been lighting it up, was a huge part. And even PJ Tucker, he's just a dog out there on defense or anything that you ask him to do. And so, I mean, on the defensive side of the floor, we got a lot better adding those two guys. And then offensively, just being able to put those players around Giannis. So when he does see that wall that the Heat put up, I mean, he had plenty of options to go to.
And your thoughts on James Harden in the Nets? That's what I'm interested in. And I believe Mike has a question for you as well.
Okay, well, because I'm also a Warriors fan, so it's hard to talk about super teams.
Okay.
Wow.
A huge Steph Curry fan.
Okay.
And Kevin Durant was not my favorite for that team just because of how much he took away from Steph and all this offseason, can Steph carry a team, in which he showed us he can do just fine without Clay, without their number 2 draft pick. So, I mean, I didn't like the super team. I mean, obviously I liked them because they won us championships, but soft move.
Sure, for real.
And I don't think the Nets will be a problem for the Bucks.
Okay, I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the defensive side of the floor, I just don't think the Nets can stop us, and I think we can defend them because not a lot of teams have the types of defenders that we have.
Just one more last question for me, Julia. And we had a couple other athletes on the pod as well, but talk to us just how the season went with COVID this year, how tough that was, practices, wearing a mask, and then how's the team looking for the future as well at UW Eau Claire?
Yeah, so this season was something else, that's for sure. We actually had 50 practices before our first game.
Wow.
Which was, at times it was like, what are we even practicing for?
Probably getting sick of seeing each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we all we're hoping that every month or so it was the decision's coming up of what we're gonna do this month. And so it was always okay, we'll get to know more. So we are always playing towards okay, well, we still have a chance of playing. So that was important to have those little steps of going into the season, but it definitely drew it out a lot. The masks weren't a huge issue. Once you get used to them, you kind of forget about them, honestly. But conditioning was on a different level just because there is a little bit of restricted oxygen intake there. But the regular season went really well. We lost one game in our crossover because we were split into 2 pods. And
okay.
So then we played so 8 teams, we were split into 4. So we played each team in our pod twice, and then we had a crossover. So we lost one of our crossover games to Oshkosh. So we split with them, and then in the playoffs we had the number 1 seed, and then we ended up losing in the second round, the semifinals, to Whitewater, who had a great game that game, and we did not play that well. So
Put that down, Chris. We don't need to
Shut
say
up,
that.
Raj.
Warhawks for life. Bleed purple, baby.
Julia, how's the team looking for next year? Did you guys graduate much, or?
Well, we graduated our best defender. She could guard 1 through. She was a post and could guard 1 through 5. Just was an amazing athlete. So finding that person for us next year is going to be interesting. But we have a big recruiting class coming in, but we also kind of have a small senior class. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how everyone lands, just because there are kind of a lot of openings position-wise. So just seeing where everyone on the team lands is going to be interesting. But chemistry-wise, it's all there. So it's just a matter of us being able to put it together.
Sure. Well, you certainly got a new fan here anyway. Eau Claire does. But yeah, I mean, we appreciate you coming on, Julia, and appreciate you sharing some of your experiences, some of your knowledge, and we hope it was all right for you. So
we'll have to get you back on and give us an update how the year's going next year.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Another good, awesome interview. So it's just, it's, we probably could have talked more about the resiliency with Julia, like overcoming it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can't even imagine, like, not a full year. That had to have been so hard. Especially when you're a freshman too, because you're like new to high school. You're trying to kind of, show everybody what kind of what you can do, when you're a freshman.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool interview. We definitely got to get her back on to tell us how her season's going next year.
Yeah. So thank you again, Julia. Let's jump into some Stanley Cup stuff. What something we didn't share last week was that we all, the Berg boys, all 4 of us, we did like a pick 'em. We picked these teams who we thought was going to win, and we all have our favorites. We all have ones that we're fans of, kind of, besides Matt, and which is a separate issue. But
let's talk about. Did we talk about this yet? Talk about the podcast.
Talk about Matt.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's call him out.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we're calling you out, Matt. You don't have an NHL team,
I don't.
And you like players, which is fine. But you've never really committed yourself to a team, whereas Rasha likes the Avalanche. I like the Wild. Mike's a Blackhawks fan. You kind of I don't even know what to say. Like what?
I just don't have. I don't know why. I guess I've never had a team. I don't know.
You can't even say never though, because you used to like the Wild.
Yeah, but I've had moments where I've liked the Blackhawks.
When was that?
I like Patty Kane. And so in return, I like to see them do good.
So you like Jack Eichel, which means you like the Buffalo
I don't like Jack Eichel.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I don't. God, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because Wisconsin doesn't have a team.
That don't matter.
I think maybe that's why.
I think you just need to be a Kraken fan next year.
I might have to be. I
think
might have to hop on the Kraken.
Yeah, there you go.
My wife said the Leafs, but
so which is interesting in that, and because I may be done after tonight. They're the only team I have left.
No offense, Jay Green.
What's the score?
They're losing 2-rip right now.
Oh.
So yeah, you might be done tonight.
Did Caulfield score?
I don't think so.
Well, to be fair, Matt's only team left is the Knights, right?
Yeah.
Just
I can't
got obliterated last night.
I can't talk any crap.
Anyway,
okay.
So
Matt, hold on, Matt. If you got a gun to your head and you're like, you got to pick a team,
you have to answer.
Okay, let me think about this for a second.
There's technically now 32 teams.
There's teams that I hate.
Okay, those are gone. Those are
Okay,
gone.
we're not talking about who you hate. We're talking about you have a gun to your head, and you have to pick one team that you're rocking with. Who is
There's
it?
got to be one that just boom comes to your head.
Honestly, there isn't. There isn't. I mean, God, probably
You
a
got to
couple.
pick one.
Like this year and last year, I didn't watch like any hockey. I would say like the last time that I watched like consistently watch hockey, I would say my team was probably the Blues.
There we go.
There you
There
go.
we go.
But
Okay.
that ain't it right now.
Oh my god.
All right. This is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Standing my ground.
You know, there's been this kind of, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, and it's mostly an issue in NBA, and maybe some in football too. But fans are kind of getting a little carried away with some things.
I saw that.
Spitting, throwing stuff. What was the other one? There's another one.
Somebody spit.
Popcorn.
Spit popcorn.
Water bottle last night at
Water.
Kyrie.
You know,
Water
it's just
bottle.
like, I guess what I'm saying is like, you got these certain places with limited capacity. I love to go to those games. I know a ton of people, almost anybody who's not there that's a fan would go there and not act like a total idiot.
Well, just like, for instance, like I saw the ticket prices. Obviously, the Canadians game is a lot different because of Canada's issues with COVID. But I think for 2 tickets was like $14,000. You know, like obviously these tickets people are getting aren't probably cheap.
No, and they only had 2,500 fans too.
Yeah. Obviously different the NBA what we're talking about, but
so I just it amazes me that we finally get something back that a lot of people really enjoy, and then you got people, which is the way it is with a lot of things in life, right? There's gonna be a few people that are gonna ruin it for everybody. The
thing that just these guys would never do this to their face, like in the street. You know what I'm saying? No. Like if there was a repercussion for them, like they're gonna have another. What was that thing called? The Malice in the Palace when Ron Artest just went.
Yeah, that was
up
nuts.
in the stand. Like I feel like that could happen soon.
I mean, they're people too, though. Like, like you get popcorn thrown on you. Like, Ross, you want to say something, don't you?
Well, it's frustrating because, we all like to think that, especially me, that we're the greatest GM or we're the greatest fan or nobody loves the Packers more than me or nobody loves the Avalanche more than me.
That's fair.
But then these guys go to the game and they do things like this. And I don't know if it's to prove that they're loyal to their fans, because there was a Celtics fan who threw it at Kyrie who used to be a Celtic.
What's the point?
Yeah, I just don't understand it. To me, I would never in a million years, whether adult beverages were involved or not, think this is gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Or I'm so mad I'm gonna throw something or I'm gonna spit on this guy. Like that would never even cross my mind. So like it baffles my mind that we have been just doing anything possible to get back to normalcy.
Yeah.
And then we finally get back to normalcy and this is how people act and respond, And I know it's stereotyping because there's 30,000 fans in there that did everything the right way, but as a society, we always focus on the negative. And so, all those 30,000 fans that cheered the right way,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That doesn't matter because of this one idiot, and that's the frustrating part. And I actually liked what James Harden said, believe it or not, even though he's not one of my favorite people in the world.
What'd he say?
He said that he goes, fans come to the game, boo, scream, yell, chant, do whatever. But as soon as you start throwing stuff, spitting, throwing water bottles, or supposedly they get a lot of derogatory stuff directed at them or their families, he goes, that's the stuff that's got to stop. He goes, I could care less if you boo me every time I touch the basketball. Like
you should expect
that's part of being a fan, right? That's part of a home court or a home ice or a home field advantage. But to me, not only is it disrespectful to the athletes, but it's disrespectful to the game itself. you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I picture it as NFL or perhaps hockey. You know, if I'm seeing dudes, you know, throwing beer over the glass at a hockey game, you know, and fans are, you know, trying to climb over it and they're cursing and spitting on players, that makes the game look horrible.
Exactly.
You know, and that takes away my love for the game because it's not pure anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so that part to me is frustrating to see that stuff. You know, it might not seem like, okay, popcorn, like what's popcorn going to do if it hits a guy, you know, but that's not the point. The point is the action at which that fan took to make a statement was just dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So here's an activity we're going to do. I got 2 activities here. We last week, you weren't with us last week, right, Matt?
I was not. Nope.
So last week we did a
Big league does.
Yeah. We picked a athlete or a famous person, anybody that we wanted to have a drink or a beer with.
Okay.
And so you gotta answer that question.
Okay.
And now the question that Rosh, Mike, and I are going to start with is the least person we want to have a drink with. That is noticeable. That is famous or whatever you want to call it. And I'll start it off. I got a few. Ray Rice. You guys know Ray Rice,
Jesus.
right? Just a loser of a guy. I feel like Tiger Woods, which you guys aren't gonna like.
Oh, interesting.
I don't have anything to say to the guy. 3, Alex Rodriguez. I am not a fan of Alex Rodriguez in any way, shape, or form. The guy had a painting, and you guys can look this up. The guy had a painting of himself as a minotaur for his own house.
He also has a picture hanging in his house of him doing bicep curls shirtless.
Yeah, this is proving my point.
And I'm pretty sure who was he dating? J-Lo or somebody?
Yeah.
And he broke up. I mean, who breaks up with J-Lo? Like, come on.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went a couple different avenues there. One, I went to a guy that like nobody wants to have a drink with because he's just a loser. And I was told I gotta watch my language on here now, so I just I'm being extra careful. But then like Alex Rodriguez, who was a really good ball player and could have been like Derek Jeter-ish. You guys know what I'm saying? Like just a really nice guy who's doesn't feel like he always needs to be in the spotlight, but he is. So Chris or Mike, who do you want to go first?
Chris, go ahead.
All right. So I learned my lesson last time. The whole pick one person you wanted to have a beer with. It's not actually one person, Matt. You can pick like 3, and I learned that last week. So I'm picking 3, Jay Green.
Okay.
The first one, and I might say his last name wrong because all NHL players, I'm horrible with their names. But after what Jay Green sent me last night, I do not want to have a beer with Ryan Reeves.
Okay, good one. Good one. Why?
He can go kick rocks for hitting the goaltender on the back of the head and then hurting one of my Avalanche players.
Okay, good pick.
Plus, he's not even good. Like at least Scott Wilson, right? Is it Scott? No, Tom Wilson. At least he has a little bit of like hockey skill with his nasty.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
You know what I'm saying? Ryan Reeves is just horrible. Like, the dude just sucks. But anyways, he's one. Bryson DeChambeau.
That's one of mine.
Whoa, that was a good one.
Not a fan.
That was
a fan.
A good one.
I just watched him complain about every single if there is a blade of grass that was not cut and his ball lands behind it, he will get an official ruling to like get that piece of grass cut.
Really?
And I can't stand it, dude. It's bad, Jay Green. It's bad. He
is
needs to get
That's a thing?
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Okay.
But he does complain a lot.
Yeah, and I can't stand his hat. His hat drives me nuts.
Well, yeah.
And then the third one is somebody that I don't want to say I admired, but I didn't mind him for a while. But the last couple of years have really made me not like this individual, and it's LeBron James. And here's why with LeBron, I can't stand the fact that he fakes fouls and injuries more than an MLS soccer player. No offense.
God, that would have been a good question for Julia.
No offense, Jay Green, but
yeah.
like there is
none taken.
there's been Twitter, like honestly, like I'm surprised, like one of the MLS teams hasn't called him just to take a couple red cards. Because like the one time, like he drops to the ground holding his shoulder, and I watched the replay from like 7 different angles and could not for the life of me figure out how his left shoulder got hurt. And then there's one where he grabs his eye and falls down to the ground, and they slow-mo it, and he got hit in the chin, and then the hand goes away from the face, but he's holding his eye. Like I just don't get it. Like now I understand. Like we grew up in Reedsburg, we're taught a different type of, I don't know, mental toughness, discipline, physicality growing up in Reedsburg. Like you get punched in the mouth, you get up and you keep going. Like if I would have stayed on any athletic surface injured, I think my mom would have put me up for adoption, like unless if both legs are broken, you use your arms and you crawl off that field. Like you're not going to just lay down. And it's been every single game, it's something. And I just don't like that. I think he, when you're 6'8", 260 pounds and you're built like a Mack truck, I'm sorry, but you don't flop like that. Be big, play big. Like that's just my thought.
Mike.
End rant.
All right. Well, I apologize big time because I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my God.
I have 6 here.
Oh boy. Okay.
Number 1, and I don't even know if we want to consider this guy an athlete, but Jake Paul.
Oh no,
of that guy,
I'm not a fan of that guy. Add him to my list.
He's
That's
not
a good one.
He's not a boxer.
Okay, that's a good
one. O.J. Simpson is a football guy, which I would probably not like to have it. Do you guys watch his videos too? Like his Twitter videos?
Yeah.
And then he tries to give it like gambling advice and stuff.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
Like, not a big O.J. Simpson fan for many reasons. Basketball player Reggie Miller. I'm not a fan of Reggie Miller at all. He does like the commentary stuff as well.
He'd get under your skin, you think, huh?
Oh, he would for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a Reggie Miller guy.
He's good at that.
2 football players, kind of wild cards. Phillip Rivers and Ben Roethlisberger.
Why Phillip Rivers?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't even know.
The guy's got 6 children. He's a good dad.
He's got like 14 children.
And he never swears too.
Yeah, he doesn't swear.
Oh, that's okay.
Just probably not a guy I'd like to hang out with, I don't think. And then this is probably number 1 for me.
Tiger Woods.
No, it's a golfer. His name is Kevin Na. I don't know how much you guys know about Kevin Na. There was a video, and this is where I started not to like him, but there was a video. He just complains about literally everything. So the 2 days before Matt and I went to Erin Hills in 2017 for the U.S. Open tournament, he made this like Facebook post, and we'll have to find this, just complaining about how long the grass was at Erin Hills and just complaining. And then like, since I've like dislike him, I see like he just keeps coming out with these videos complaining about the courses, kind of ripping tournaments and stuff like that. But yeah, Kevin Na, I'm not a fan of at all. So sorry about that. That was like 6 guys.
That's good. So Matt, you got the ones you would, and then the ones you wouldn't.
I'm going to start with the ones I would not. Since that was a little harder for me. I had Bryson DeChambeau as well. And then I got one other one, and mostly because of his college career, I have no idea what he's doing or how he's doing professionally. And this is probably how people view Brad Davison for us. But do you guys remember Grayson Allen for Duke?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I could not stand that guy when he was at Duke. Always like tripping guys and doing all this shady stuff. So he's
in the playoffs right now.
I think he's doing pretty well.
Is he doing pretty well? Okay, I have no idea.
He's on one of the playoff teams because I saw his name on the.
But I hear you on that.
Yeah. Just a little weasel.
Oh yeah.
Guys that I would drink with. One would be, I don't know if you guys. I listened to some of the pod last week. I think one guy said John Daly, if I remember right.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. I'm gonna choose one. I got 2. Gronk as one.
Oh, good one.
That's a good one.
And then a Milwaukee Brewers guy. I actually have a photo of him right there signed. Mike's boy too, Niger Morgan. Those two guys, I feel like if I was drinking with, like, you're not going to bed before like 5 a.m.
No.
And you're probably in a club somewhere.
Get
and
those three together.
Yeah,
You
those
guys?
three, yeah, like that would just be unbelievable.
Niger and Gronk.
Chris,
Well,
you
maybe
can tell that. You can tell
Chris,
that.
hey, maybe Rosh is.
Chris, tell the
Yeah.
story, please.
Hold on,
Quick.
I'll try to tell it as I go back on my phone here because I have a screenshot of it. I don't know if
Okay,
it, I
this
don't
is
know
college.
if it'll be
This is me in
backwards.
college.
Oh,
Okay, it's not me now.
can you guys read that?
No.
Kind of.
No.
Okay, so this is Mike Lennon, and I don't know what Mike said to begin with, but I got to screenshot the retweets, and all I know is I said my boy Mike Lennon just got called out by Morgan. I can't stop laughing. That's just made my week because Morgan tweeted at Mike Lennon 18. I never played hockey with a bird cage, so I guess you're scared of contact. And then Mike must have said something back, and then Morgan says, Mike Lennon 18, another hater trying to get noticed. Chump couldn't hold your head high, so now you hate.
Oh man!
And then he blocked me, so I
And
can't.
then he blocked you, yeah.
Oh, I'm
great.
so glad I should.
Yeah.
That's
That was a
from,
long
like,
time ago.
oh, it's a
for,
long time ago. I think it's like 20. I don't even know, 2013 or something. I can't even.
What an iconic brewer.
Yeah.
Yep, February 21st, 2013.
Okay, we're close. We're nearing down here. Little last activity here, and like I said earlier, it's centered for Rosh. I'm gonna, and actually it worked out well that Mike had mentioned fishing earlier. So I'm gonna ask you which one of us would this question best apply to.
Okay.
So, for example, who do you think is the best fisherman out of us three?
Mike,
Why?
because he's the only one that I've seen fish.
All right.
I've never seen you hold a fishing pole. I've never seen Matt hold a fishing pole.
Okay, it's also
Actually,
like
I have seen Matt, but I won't tell the story about when we went fishing. But I have seen Matt go fishing.
Were we fishing?
I think so.
Where was
it's also
okay,
hypothetical, so you could just think, oh, well, he looks like he'd be a good
Okay.
fisherman. You know?
Well, I saw Mike in his camo waders, and he looked
Okay.
apart. You know, he's kind of got the grizzly beard going on, and
Maybe I
only
should have
thing-
ended with that one.
the
All
only
right.
thing he needs to get the gold fish hook in his hat.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause then
He's got to
that'll
bend the
seal-
bill more.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that'll seal the deal.
that's like,
That'll seal the deal, and then he's got to get the fish hook, and then it's done. It's a done deal.
Okay. So you guys ever read the book or watch the movie Hatchet?
Yes, it's the only book I've actually read cover to cover.
Okay, so you're placed in the middle of the woods and you only have a hatchet, and you got to survive. Which one of us do you feel like would put you in the best situation to survive with?
Matt.
what? Come on.
Nice.
Okay, and the first thought that comes to your mind for that, because
he always finds a way to get things done. Like it's hard to explain. I lived with him and coached with him,
Oh
and
yeah.
even when
Okay.
he knew nothing, he seemed to get the job done. Like he finds a way, and so I think that's what you'd need in that situation if your plane crashes and you got to find a way, castaway style. He's who
yeah,
I'd pick.
I don't know about you, Mike, but it's probably a good choice, Rosh. You're probably dead with me. So. All right, best cook.
Jay Green,
Okay, why?
because the one meal that you cooked, the steak, and then it was some sort of like, well, I don't even remember what it was. What was it was something scallops, but you like had them all doused in butter and stuff, and that steak. And every time you invite me over, it's always been really good.
Okay.
And when I lived with Matt, we weren't much of the cooking type.
Nope.
I know Mike can grill. I know that, but
Yeah.
But
Yes,
overall
sir.
culinary skills, I think I'd have to go with you,
Strongest.
Matt.
Mike, you got something you want to say?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
That was the quickest answer to it. That he said, too. Wow.
I've lifted with the man. I know.
Me and Rosh pump
That
some iron.
don't mean anything.
Well, what are you doing right now? You sit at a
Maybe.
desk and answer phone calls.
I'm-
Jay
I'm-
Green
I'm a- I'm
goes
a
around
person.
and helping people. Matt lifts heavy. stuff all day long. I'm trying to watch my language too, Jay Green.
Okay.
So, like, you know, he's getting a workout in, you know, sopping. He might be in the rain. He might be in the snow. Like, he's trucking up and down stairs.
That's right.
Fair enough.
So that was my thought process behind it. What else you got for me?
Who do you think, last one, who do you think would be the best artist?
Ooh.
Considering we're probably all just awful.
Yeah.
I've seen Jay Green's handwriting, so I'm not going with Jay
Matt
Green.
is bad too.
I don't know. I don't see an artist in Matt.
No.
Okay.
You know, he might be able to do those coil pots like in Miss Mockler's class.
I love those.
So I'm going to have to go with Mike. And not that I think Mike's a stud at art. I think it's by default because you guys are just I just know you two are bad, so Mike's got to be better than that.
All right. So we'll do something like this next week for Matt or Mike.
Oh God.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks, Julia, for being our guest. We'll see you guys next week, and everybody take care.
See you guys.
Good one, guys.